All right, today we're going to be doing a clutch kit install for the Dalton clutch kit on the Maverick Trail, or an older Sport. There's a one particular model that has what I call the, I don't know where it even is, but the two roller style secondary. Primary sides are the same as this XMR clutches that we're using today. Secondary is different, but we have that secondary, so we'll use that. But the clutches that we are using today, other than secondary, come off a 22 Commander. Why? Same clutch is for several different models, except for this Trail, which uses two roller style, but I do have it, so we'll be able to enter in that. Sorry about the little weird transition, but buying this one vehicle with its clutches allowed us to do testing, tools, belts, videos for a multitude of vehicles, and just buy one. So you just have to work with me here. The process is pretty much the same. So let's get started on the clutch kit. As mentioned, we're going to move on to the clutch kit install. Before we get started, just remember that this particular kit is the Commander. The clutches are so similar. There's a few little minor differences, but you can use the process on all these vehicles that I mentioned. And we separated, 3 different videos to make it clear. But don't panic if your X3 or your Maverick Trail or your Maverick Sport R doesn't have the exact same stuff. Follow your kit instructions. Processes are the same. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is separate the governor cup, or the two halves of the clutch, from the other. So hopefully you're going to be using a clutch puller from Hunterworks, and you're going to screw it in as soon as it touches the threads. I'm an impact guy. About so far down, leave about a ½ inch or so between the nut portion and this. Pick up your tool. Hopefully it's the Hunterworks made in the USA tool. You can find one no better. Get all your screws started in the clutch. These do not have to be really that tight. I like, again, impact. Run it down. You're just trying to hold it in place. All right, now then we're going to turn this nut down. It's a 15/16. You can use a ratchet, pull handle, whatever. Hold on to this. Again, I'm an impact guy. Woo! Hi-yow! I wouldn't suggest unscrewing this all the way, because over time, if you use this tool a lot, the threads will get damaged, and on the very bottom where it meets the puller, and there's never a need to pull it all the way out. Very expensive tool, I get it, but it's high quality. Share it with a buddy, and but it's just needed. Okay, and we're going to take that back out. Again, I'm going to use this 3/4, speed it up. Okay, now we're able to take the governor cup off. Now with this, there are going to be 3 O-rings in here. Now another thing you need to do before we pull it off, you need to mark it. Mine's probably already marked from previous, so I got multiple marks. So mark it with a black marker so you can put it back in the same place. And I would put it over somewhere in the middle of a table so that when you get this off and any of the, I call them spider buttons, any of those come out or move, then and you can find them. If you're lucky, they'll stay in, but I don't think we're going to be lucky. Ooh, we are lucky. Mine stayed in. Yours may not. There's some O-rings under 3 of them that when they fall out, you got to make sure those O-rings are in place. Let's, there's one right there. So let's bring it onto the camera. There are 3 that have this. And check for damaged O-ring. Make sure it's in the right place when we go back here in a minute. But that's where it goes, okay? So I'm gonna lay that to the side. I would say this would be a great time, overhead view here, to look at these slide pieces. If they got wear when we go back, I would set it on a different one. Mine has a teeny bit only because this is a brand new vehicle. I'm still going to rotate this to a new side when I put it back. Okay, that one just fell out when I did that. So now we can move this to the spring compressor. There's another one fell out. This vibration's doing it. Hopefully the Hunterworks spring compressor. And then handle on. Okay, now you're not doing any compressing at this point, so don't just keep cranking this thing. You'll bend it, tear stuff up. We're gonna get the proper bit for this. I believe that's it, a T30. Make sure you put some downward pressure because the tool doesn't always let you get a direct downward angle. There it goes. Okay, take this remaining 2 screws out. Probably would not be the worst idea to mark that same position. So you can put it back, put you a black mark before you pull it out, so you can put it back in the same spot. All this is not, it's not 100% required, just an excellent idea for balance sake. If they put it in there like that, let's put it back like that. Okay, this particular clutch already has the Dalton clutch kit in it, so I am actually adjusted mine. But anyway, so we just took out a stock spring, and far as springs go, we'll just hit it right now. Take the if your kit, I believe all the kits covered these vehicles will have primary spring, and they're typically going to have a plastic washer in there. It's explained in the instructions what the washer does for you, and you put it in. So you can put it in now and put it in later, either way. All right, so then again, every kit's going to be different. So I'm going to the 3 that are adjustable, and I'm removing them. Takes T25 bit on one side and a 8mm or 5/16, I believe, on the other. Okay, I know I'm opposite of the camera, but I'm just taking a pivot pin out. Okay, now my kit has washers in it, and I got to be mindful of not losing them. I'm trying to remember about the stock weights. I don't believe they had anything, but if they did, don't lose them. Okay. So you're going to be taking out the 3 that are adjustable. If you have the 3 adjustable kit, or if this is the actual Commander, you're going to take all 6 out. So I'm just going to skip on in the video till I get them all out. We'll talk about it in a sec. Okay, now that depending on your vehicle, you got all 6 out, none out, 3 out. So since I've already done the 3 on this Commander kit, we're just going to do the 3 that are adjustable. And FYI, the stock weights do not have the little washers, so that's not something you'll keep up with, but you will install with the new weights. All right, so you read your instructions. It's got setup sheets in here to tell you what to do and how to set it up. In my case, I'm going to be using a 3/8 set screw in the tip, and you're going to take your set screws. I got them laid out here on the table with the gold screws. I'll move them out of the way, and I'm going to put a teeny bit of blue Loctite on them. I said tiny, it's hard to get a little amount out, okay? And I'm going to get rid of some of that. Okay, and we're going to screw in from this side, not this flat side, but this side right here. I should have probably put it on the tool. It would have been easier to get in than my fat fingers. Okay. So repeat the set screw called for in each weight, and then we'll put them in. Okay, now we're ready to put them in, and I'll try to do one from this angle so you can see better on the installed part. Okay, so our pivot pins are all running this way. Grab the black washers that come with it, and I like to hang that washer right on the end of that thread. Put my weight in there. All right, this is going to be the fun part for me because I can't hardly do it backwards and I'm used to doing it. And set your other washer in there. There it went. Put your nut on. I would put just a tad of blue Loctite on. Get it started with your fingers. Take your same tool. I'm certainly going to do this upside down. Can't do it upside down. Sorry. Woohoo. I'm sure there's a torque spec on that, but I don't use it. If you want to be a torque spec nerd, and I'm kidding, of course, do, but it seems like on some of these smaller screws, bolts, and stuff, when people start trying to torque them, they'll get foot-pounds and inch-pounds messed up, or their torque wrench is not calibrated, and you just run into all kind of problems. And if you'd have just tightened it down till it stopped, it is a lock nut, plus we're putting a little bit of blue Loctite on it anyway. It's not like it's going to go anywhere. This is not what I would consider a critical area. There's certainly some areas that have critical bolts. That's not one of them to me. Okay. Sorry, I know this video is going to be a little long, but you know, it's an expensive kit, expensive vehicle. If you want things done right and you want a good quality kit, I would just suggest painstakingly watch this whole thing. All right, so got all them back in. Now we're going to put our spring from the kit in. This is probably the proper time. This washer here is just simply allows this spring to not grab the cup and try to torsion at the same time. It allows it to spin in the cup, and just for more efficient operation, if you will, okay? I have a reason for leaving mine out. Do not leave yours out. I'm testing something else for somebody else, so don't do what I do here, okay? Absolutely put yours in. Now, where's our mark at? Here's our mark. And then now it's time to use the old Hunterworks spring compressor. Start that compressing. Don't go all the way down. Get it close, because you're going to have to line it up. Get it close enough that you can get all your screws in, and we're going to put a little blue Loctite on them as well. Now, while I'm setting these screws in, these do have a torque spec on them. Torque on these are 89 inch-pounds. I do not own an inch-pound torque wrench, so this is going to go off my experience. And again, I don't think this is one of those super critical areas. I think torquing them on the vehicle is certainly critical on these, and that Hunterworks holding tool works great for that. Make sure they're all in the hole. Be gentle if you're using an impact. You can tell when it's not threaded right. They all are. Come on down. All right, bottomed out. Now we do a crisscross pattern. That was 89 inch-pounds or whatever. All right, crisscross. All right, now we can take that compressor back off. All right, now it's time for that governor cup. If you have new O-rings for these buttons, now is the time to put them in. I've got 2 buttons that fell out. Like I said, we're going to rotate these to a good one in case you have any wear. That's a good one. That looks like one I've used or was using. All right, so let's find, well, here's the way to do this actually, is do one. I'll show you, here we go. So if it's that one and that one, it's going to be this one, okay? So make sure you hold that one together. Find your marks. Mine is right here, and then this is going to be odd, but I want you to put it in and put that one in first, okay? Just at an angle. You'd probably be better off at this point getting it off of here. All right, so we're going to put it in at an angle and then barely have it in, and you're going to take this O-ring, make sure it's in the proper spot. There's a little groove for it in there. Make sure it's all in there correct, and then you're going to ease down on that one, okay? Now, see, that leaves our last one, and you got to be careful and be easy and slow. Make sure it goes in there correct and you don't get it pinched. Put your button in. It has a position flat on the bottom. All right. You can tell when that O-ring is not in there right. It just won't feel right. All right. I believe I got her. And that O-ring behind those 3 is to kind of tighten this up to help control some noise. And when you go back, one thing you probably should have done, and so hopefully you watch this and you're not doing step by step. When we mark this, it would have been a great idea to mark it across the square or with the bottom half also, but I will say this. Since you can buy a back half, front half, and governor cup all separate, then it's probably not that important to have them all exactly back. It's just a good practice to do it, but when you can buy different pieces, that means they've been balanced separately, so it's not as critical. But still, you had a good idea, okay? Now, you're through, but here's the kicker. It's a good idea to hold it together, because it can come back apart. It won't stick until it's back on the vehicle. Vehicle's behind the camera. So I would do this, and I would take brake clean rag, Scotch-Brite pad, whatever, scrub it up, clean it up, wipe it down. Probably better off doing it while it was apart. I just kind of forgot about it to now. And then once you do that, don't even put your fingers on it anymore. Just stay away from it. At this point, you go to our other video where we're reinstalling it, you hold it all together and get it on the crankshaft. If you don't hold it like this, it will come apart and you'll just have a mess. You may break something, okay? So, primary is done. We will move to the secondary clutch. All right, now it's time to do the secondary. This secondary is what we call a 2-roller style. This is going to be for your trail. It has some weird names back in the day, just like the Sport 1000, not to be confused with the Sport 1000R, which has 3-roller clutch. So, you know, and it's called QXR and all this mess. We just call it 2-roller and a 3-roller. So, Dalton kit, changing the helix out, okay? Pretty simple on this one. You use a, hopefully using the Hunterworks compressor. Slide it down. Put the spring cup, little plastic spacer we send, whether it's round or square or a washer, put it down. Not the worst idea to take a magic marker, mark it on the edges where you can see. So you can go back. There's also arrows on this clutch, one here, one on the flip side. Be a good idea to get it centered. And then we're going to take a T40. and we're going to remove all these screws. Let's see if my small impact will do it. Sure enough, start taking the pressure off. FYI, when you're going down, you're just barely touching it. Don't continue to try to tighten this because it's already bottomed out and you just bend the bail. Okay, I will tell you this. This is the most excellent opportunity you'll ever have with this vehicle to get rid of these terrible rollers that come in these clutches. This one's already actually has ours in it, but the factory rollers, here they are, I believe, have a big problem with breaking, cracking, tearing up $400, $500, whatever they cost, secondary clutches. I would say this is the time, okay? Get you a pair of Hunterworks rollers at the same time, okay? So, you're gonna take your spring out, then you're gonna take your helix. We have an arrow on it. We'll make sure that you catch that. And you're going to put, I believe, don't get me lying because I don't actually have this vehicle. This is one of them fibs. I don't have a two-roller deal, and I don't even have a Dalton clutch out here for this. I've never actually done the Dalton part of a two-roller, so forgive me. Read your instructions. My videos are methods only, how to use tools, what not to do the operation. Closely read your instructions because I can't remember, I've read them, whether you use the washers. I would assume you would because it helps smooth it up. But whatever it tells you to do, you do what Dalton says. So where's our arrow at again? We'll probably just mark it in black so it's easier to see on the side for you. Okay, so we're going to set it down, and then we're going to put our spring back in. We're going to set our secondary back in. We're going to note our arrow. There's our black mark there. So it goes here. I will tell you this. These helix slots look similar, but they're different. The rollers go into the hooked ones, not these, okay? It's very important. Okay, pick it up, set it down in here. Now we're going to take our secondary back half. There's our black mark, and we're going to set it back down. And then we're going to take our spring cup and our handle. By the way, those rollers for this two-roller are so easy to put in. Watch that video. I mean, you got to do this operation right here, but put rollers in this two-roller secondary is very, very easy. I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Be mindful of what you're doing. Okay. Get it almost down where you can move it. Since this one's coming back apart, I'm not putting blue Loctite. Put some blue Loctite on your screws, put them in. Why is it coming back apart? Because that's actually a helix that goes in a Dalton kit that is not going to stay in a secondary around here that actually is not going in a vehicle. I probably mentioned in an earlier part of this video, we buy a particular vehicle that has like or very close like clutches that allow us to do videos and enough tests, and for something different, I just bought this whole secondary. I knew the problems with the rollers. Make sure these are started, don't go all the way just yet. Don't ask me what the torque is on them, I don't even know. I never would torque these personally, they're too small, you run into problems. If I was using a ratchet, I would just give them a good ug-a-dug on these and I wouldn't go too far. Okay, when we're bottomed out, gonna hit it. Hear that? Two taps. If I didn't mention it already, while it was apart, it was a good time to clean it with Scotch-Brite, brake clean, and a clean rag. Get them belt surfaces done. Obviously, if you're putting in new rollers and a new helix, you got new parts in it. So there's not a whole lot to check out there. and we are done with secondary. Hopefully you understand that these videos are guidelines. We're not the best YouTuber part in the world, but this is just a how-to. Please follow your Dalton clutch kit instructions to the T. Don't deviate. He knows what he's doing. Hunterworks works in the background with Dalton. We help each other. And so just if you do what we say and get it done right, you'll be good. If you got any tech questions on this at all, Todd@hunterworks.com. I'll be glad to help you with it, best of my capability. And I appreciate you very much. Don't forget, best belt on the planet. And while on that, if you're putting a brand new Hunterworks belt on at the same time, or any new belt on the same time as a clutch kit, and you're checking shift phase RPM, then be aware that RPM is going to be lower with a brand new belt than one that's fully broke in. So if you say, well, my RPM is not where it's supposed to be, I better go and adjust this clutch. If it's like 100 to 300 RPM lower, leave it alone, wait 100, 300 miles. It'll come back up when the belt gets fully worn in, broke in, whatever you want to call it. But worn in is really the answer. So be knowledgeable of that as well. And I appreciate you guys considering us and hopefully making some purchases on tools and clutches. Some of these tools are pretty expensive. Share them hopefully with your buddies. If not, they'll last you a lifetime, and you'll probably be in the clutch in and out over the years as you own these Can-Ams. So just hold on to them. They're not a waste of money. Thank you so much.